나는 가사 something 냠는다 아니 시럽이 냠래 아니 디고 아니 야보야 쇼스 몰란제 디고 슈바레 내자 아주 지게 코알라 심제 탐제는 대화된 고고래 동하나 자고고래 지산 대화를 된발라 아니 디위 규다 된바스 고고로 지산 동하다 자야라 동의 규다 제바 자고르마도 동의 규디 메마마스나 되네 동하다 자투고 말와 되네 인자 저기 동하기 동하 되기 대하다 동하 자야라 동의 규디 자고 인자 아니 저기 다직 동의 규디 가래람나 아니가 지금 녀모바 내가 녀모바 된 이거래서 내가 녀모바 된 자위 규디 탈투의 규디 아니 된제 마리파세스레스 다제 마리파세데레스 어디 방고래서 제가 디방 방고인자 디방바라 아니 동이 또비 셰랍 검제 아니 방고래 대야 동이 또 받으면 지금 말에 동이를 미비게 신의 주 되네 신의 딩안에 동이를 미비 라동 주 아니 안디네 인자 아니 라동 줍제 디주발에 되네 아니 디 실라손 줍 되네 실라손 되게 동요도비 샤라디 냠낸 제바이나 공부 공묘도 되네 된제 마릭바디마 누바 춘슈 땅방도 고레스 진짜 니네 방와자 방토와자 산이고 바토바 타바다 탐제김비 고바토발라 디 아니 동요도비 동요도비 실라손 되 공고인자 아니 가상아 저기 냠내 저와 디고 되네 인자다 동요도비 실라손 되 공야 아니 야는 동일을 미비실라 손으로 고미야라 한 동요 또 호로와 지서 동요 또네 나 하동의 시럽 공부하자 네 시럽에 파진냠네 안디 고르시와 제가상
Good morning, everyone. So yesterday we spoke in particular about the we completed looking at the six perfections. In the afternoon we looked at those of concentration and wisdom. The way then we were encouraged to incorporate this in our practice is coming to recognize that all sentient beings are the same as ourselves in wanting to experience only lasting happiness, and not wanting this happiness to be interrupted by even a moment of suffering. We then, through our meditation, we come to understand that to achieve happiness, all the relevant causes need to be accumulated. The experience of happiness is a result, and for a result to be achieved, the causes need to be accomplished. And then similarly, the causes that result in suffering, the suffering that we all want to be liberated from, those causes that have previously been accumulated need to be eliminated, and no further causes accumulated, so as to be sure that we don't continue to experience ongoing suffering and frustration and problems. And the causes of our suffering is the karma that we have accumulated under the influence of our own afflicted minds. So the result of suffering comes from the cause of karma. That cause itself, that cause itself has a cause, afflicted minds. And afflicted minds, or the variety of afflicted minds, have as their cause the ignorance of self-grasping, or the ignorance of true grasping. So this mind of ignorance is the root cause of all our suffering. And it is through eliminating that beings will become liberated from suffering. Without the cause, no suffering is experienced, lasting, stable happiness only is experienced. And there's only one way to eliminate this ignorance, and that is to cultivate the opposing mind, the contrary mind, the mind that is completely contradictory to this ignorance, and that is a wisdom. And this ignorance of self-grasping has as its contrary mind the wisdom realizing the emptiness of inherent existence. So this is the actual antidote, the direct antidote. But this wisdom alone cannot eliminate this deep-rooted ignorance within us, because despite being the actual and direct antidote, on its own this wisdom or this understanding of emptiness lacks sufficient strength. As we heard yesterday, it needs to be conjoined with the union of calm abiding and meditative insight. Then it has the power to actually eliminate the ignorance of self-grasping. And these minds are developed in a sequence: calm abiding, followed by special meditative insight, and then placed in union, the two together on the object of emptiness. And this then has the power to eliminate the ignorance of self-grasping.
Sanjo Komato Yamlin Che, Jibi Yamlin, Tsudi Yamlin, Sube Yamlin, Nitsundi Yamlin, and Dennis something Yamlin, Denishera Yamlin, Denigi Yamlin, the Chasan Druga, the Drubo Chasan Yamlin Jenamato, and then Shiraju Na, and something Yamlin Chibu Chive, Sanjo Komato, Tugo, Denis Sanji, Sanjo Komato Toyala, Yamlin Che, Zo de la Pachin Drugi Yamlin de. It's not that Pachin Drugi Yamlin, Zo Che, Di. Yamlinche Kunong Roots, Sona Kuno, Chanchu Semi Kuno, Kunawas Kukuri, Ejer. Chesa Manzugi, Danganze Kasa, Sheva Nashi, that's something Yamlin Shiraye, Yamle Yapoyala, Dinelia, Jimba, Sudin Suva, Zunjugi Yamlin Tiki Ware. Zunjugi Yamlin, the Sanjo Goban to be to Yamlin Chevala, Yela Kuno, Semjan Tamji to Sanjo Goban Toba Jigin, Chanchu Sim Kuno, Chanchu Sim Ware. That Kuno Janjusum Yabukia, Nielia, and Jam Casa Nicheta, Lasan Namda Sada, Diga, Lasan Namda, Diga Lana, Niel, and Jambata Zewa, Nishimota, Jambata Zewa said the Guru, Jambat Zewa. Tisa, the Niza, Jambata Zewa. Tisa, Jambata Zewa Giva de Shen Simjan Tam Jigidunda, Simjan Dunga Jago, the Simjan Digidan, Dengu to Samba, Kiela, Nielia, Koa de Tagu to Sim, Asian Guru. Koala Nimbu Meva Tonja, or Koa de la Matana Taminus, Koala Nimbu Meva Tonja, Koa de la Tarduga Samba Giadu, Dene, and Duma Jatuga Samba, Giadu, Dene, Tava Tamji Kimoko Montoya, Bezuchi, then Yajungo water. Then Yajung de Yahoyon Giale, Nielan Zugeta, Digo Wada, Chicken, Zugi, Yajun Yamin Yahochevala, and then Dien the Yahosko, Dien Milu. And then Miluki Den, Lutin, Kabachi, Mato, and then Dundroda, the Nick and Sungitella, and then Azungi, Jason, Yamnichi to Elmer, Dineza, Zuki, Den Kabajan, Tarbata, Tamjaki Mokowato, and Yamlin Jebala, Den Lutin Kabachi, Ditovia Dondala, and the Kiwachima, Tada Muko, Topdugi, and then Topdugi Sambaki, the Nigi Sambaki, Ditovia Dondala, and Yamlin Jimba, the Children Subi, Yamnichi, Ondusia. And then Dineza and Di Damo on Dine Samta, Digala, and other Yellet, Conjusumlia, Jamrosa, Jamrukura, the Kiwachimata, Mukovala, and Cheji, Chinyam and Chevala, and what Jamrusku, which is a Conjusumla, just to be Jamrosamta. Dine, or do some time, the Jimbati, Maram said, Yanmatio, the Dago, Yagane, one Yaziona, down what Jamrosamta, or Jamrosamata, Dine, and Digale, and a ticket, and I took Kivishi. Give you cheating and give you Yundena 10, Yundena Bata, give you singing la Debajiada. And the DJ, and Dijela, Maju, Yawachima, Tada Muko, Toya, Tabachimichi, Yamnaji, Din Tabajin, Toya Dandala, and then there, Sudimusaya, the Sobokomia. Dine Uncle, Nimbo, Nation Samta, and then engaging the Samtane, and the Dijela, and the Simja Tamje, and Dewa the Temple to the Temple Jamni Samtaya. There is some Jatamji to the Sayuko Toba chickens, which I just Samta, Sayuko Toba, the Yamnichi Garrison, Passion to win Yamnichi, Ticheta, the Passion to win Yamni, Tashiba the chicken said, on the Nigger Dondala, Yamnichi, Rimbati, Dondagita, Molam Jadu, Quenma, Tambone, Tushin, Molam Javichineta, Casan Bado, Passion to win Yamlin Badu, Molam Jachasan Sasavare.
As we heard yesterday, and I've just mentioned, that the wisdom realizing emptiness on its own, despite being the direct antidote to the cause of our suffering, lacks the power to be able to completely destroy the root cause of our suffering, and therefore has to be conjoined with the union of calm abiding and special insight. The second limitation of this amazing mind that realizes emptiness is that whilst being conjoined with the union of calm abiding and meditative insight, it does have the power to completely eliminate the root cause of all suffering, and therefore can lead to liberation from all suffering states. Its second weakness, perhaps, a second weakness is that on its own, all it can do is lead one to a state where one oneself is liberated from suffering. It cannot lead one to the state of Buddhahood, the state where one can be of greatest benefit to all sentient beings. In order for the wisdom realizing emptiness to be able to lead, to have the sufficient power to lead one all the way to enlightenment, it has to be conjoined with the union of calm abiding and meditative insight, and with the mind of bodhicitta. Then, with the companions of powerful wisdom and compassion, then the practitioner can attain enlightenment for the sake of all sentient beings. So this we also looked at yesterday, the need for calm abiding and meditative insight as to support the minds of wisdom as well as compassion, and both wisdom and compassion needing to be conjoined within the mind of a practitioner in order for enlightenment to be achieved. Because we've just mentioned how wisdom on its own cannot lead to enlightenment, the mind of bodhicitta, this on its own, even when conjoined with calm abiding and meditative insight, that lacks sufficient strength, or lacks the wisdom that will enable the bodhisattva to eliminate the ignorance of self-grasping. And thereby enlightenment is impossible if the bodhisattva has only achieved bodhicitta. So what we looked at yesterday was the need to combine, or to conjoin wisdom and compassion, or wisdom and bodhicitta, and to do so on the basis of these powerful meditative minds of calm abiding and meditative insight. And furthermore, we looked at yesterday morning that in order for the yogi to rapidly progress in their spiritual development and the achievement of their goals, it's imperative that they generate the mind that delights in engaging in virtue, the mind of joyous perseverance. This is the mind that adds great energy to all spiritual endeavors. And then we spoke about the sequence to cultivate this, because with the goal of enlightenment, we've now mentioned that one requires a mind such as joyous perseverance to give sufficient strength. We require minds of calm abiding and meditative insight, again, to give strength. And then the wisdom is required so as to be able to eliminate the root cause of suffering. And then accompanying these minds, one needs the ethical conduct, the mind that commits to not bringing harm, the mind of generosity, the wish to give, to benefit others, as well as the practice of patience, which ensures that one does not bring harm to others, but rather can respond in a way that is beneficial, and that whatever problems one experiences in one's own spiritual development do not overwhelm one, but one can continue to strive for the benefit of others. So these 6 practices are also required in order to attain enlightenment. And these 6 practices are the practices of bodhisattvas, these 6 perfections. So these we've looked at in some detail yesterday and the afternoon before. And in order to be able to engage in the 6 perfections, for them to be actually qualified as the 6 perfections, they need to be conjoined by the mind of bodhicitta. Without the mind of bodhicitta, they would be called rather the practices of generosity, the practices of ethical conduct, rather than the perfections of. And the mind then of bodhicitta that is required. This comes about through the cultivation of love and compassion, developing them to the strength where the meditator gives rise to the sincere wish, taking responsibility for the welfare of others, meaning that the others, that all sentient beings without exception, all mother beings, their elimination of suffering and the cause of suffering, and their achieving lasting happiness of enlightenment. This the yogi takes as his own responsibility. And in this way gives rise to the mind of the altruistic intention of universal responsibility. And this mind of special intention, this gives sufficient strength to the love and compassion that the practitioner can make the commitment, I will strive for enlightenment for the sake of others. I will become a Buddha, not for my own happiness, but so that I can become the most skilled of guides. Becoming the most skilled of guides, I will have the ability to lead each and every mother sentient being perfectly to their own enlightenment. And in this way, bodhicitta is generated. But in order for bodhicitta to be generated, the yogi has to first meditate on cyclic existence and come to a profound understanding of cyclic existence. And this starts with first looking at suffering and coming to understand how cyclic existence is pervaded by suffering, not just the lower realms where the suffering is very coarse and obvious, but also our experiences in the happier migrations, the so-called happier migrations of humans and gods. We here also continuously experience suffering. And even when suffering isn't directly manifest in those moments of temporary happiness, due to having these contaminated aggregates, we are always on the edge of falling into suffering. So here the practitioner has to meditate in detail on suffering, giving rise to a strong disgust for remaining in cyclic existence. And then this needs to be combined with a clear understanding of the causes of those suffering. Otherwise the mind will just become weak and dispirited and feeling helpless. But the causes, the afflicted minds that lead to the karma that ripens in cyclic existence, these afflicted minds that come from the ignorance of self-grasping. This has to be clearly understood, and thereafter the path that needs to be cultivated to abandon this. So this then is the preceding step to bodhicitta. Without this step, where the mind that results in the mind of definite emergence, this wish to, with certainty, with being definite, to emerge from the suffering of samsara, without that, it's not possible to give rise to the wish for others to do so. Without this mind of definite emergence, genuine love and compassion for others cannot arise, because their true experiences of suffering cannot be understood. And in order to be able to give rise to this mind of definite emergence that one has cultivated through reflecting on suffering, the origins of suffering, that these can be cease, cessation is possible, and the path to do so, one has to have a suitable basis to engage in these meditations. And amongst, as we've looked at previously, amongst the various bases, the very best is that of a human rebirth. And not just any human rebirth, we see the multitude of experiences beings have, but one that has all the qualities of a human rebirth that is precious. So therefore, we also need to be including in our aspirational prayers to continue to attain suitable bases to rapidly progress spiritually. And thereby we engage in practices such as guarding our ethics and generosity and patience to ensure that we continue to have good rebirths. And then the preceding step to this is the reflection on refuge. And reflecting on refuge, generating joy and power in our mind at this opportunity we have through the recognition that through cultivating the teachings that our Mahayana spiritual friend is giving to us, these teachings that came from the Buddha, these teachings, through generating them in our mind, in this way we accomplish protection from suffering. This then should lead to both great joy and strength of mind. So here what I've just represented is the meditations that we have been looking at, but starting with the end point and going down to the beginning point, with the fourth step being that of the perfections, which includes a meditation on wisdom. Then the third step, the cultivation of the mind or bodhicitta, and the second step of looking at the situation within cyclic existence, suffering and its causes giving rise to the mind of renouncing cyclic existence and wanting to definitely emerge from cyclic existence, and starting with generating the joyous and powerful mind through reflecting on refuge and precious human rebirth. And these are the practices that we have been expressing aspirational prayers towards throughout this text thus far.
Tapa Chimbiki, Shayam Jag, Molam Jada, the Passion to Bats and Rimbajana Satsarva, that Diria, Shaya, and Molam Shan, and Jechamboro Skagi, and the Nikorma Shire.
So thus far in the text we've expressed aspirations in relation to coming to meet and recognize a true and authentic Mahayana spiritual friend. We've generated aspirations to continue to attain precious human rebirths and to utilize these in the most meaningful of ways and have all conducive circumstances to do so. And then having looked at those practices of the being of smallest capacity, we continue to express aspiration in relation to the being of intermediate capacity. And then we came to the practices of the Mahayana, including the 6 perfections. And now we'll continue with other prayers in the text.
That's it. Namda Laba Cheme Simjital, Dambe Mebe Lela Jimije, Timchal Gejung, Shasu Jenamja, Dagi, give me Tim the George or Sasmanum Dus Genari.
Now the 23rd verse. May I bring to faultless morality those so-called practitioners with their wayward ethics, shamelessly empty of pure practice, rashly pursuing paths shunned by the wise.
That is all. Nanda Laba Cheme Simji Jasi, and then Dambe Maybe Lela Jimmy Jes. That don't you see to that houses. That Namda Laba Cheme said that to Rapjun Lubishina, Lami Zane, and it's Sudim Sungi, setting on to get Sudim Sunga killing che. That killing che, and then Surum Sungo or rather, Chisan Sungo has a Denigia, Sung Matuache, Bene, Mozart, Mozart, Cheme, Mozart, and Cheyuga Samba Mevache, then Mozart Mevache, Che maybe Samba Kiodu, and then Simgi, Cheme, Simgi, Charles, the Garchar was in Mozart and Cheyuga somebody ma Nyamdu or Mevachar. Chisan Deniga Sambi Wangi and to Kosumgi, Dikbi Lega, Momuchigores, Kosumi Dikba. Kosum, the Luigi when a diva, I when a diva, ye when a diva, and the Nigi Nijula, Kosum Nijulia, Jawal Jugores. Chisan Deni Kosumgi, Nijula, Jawa Jupi, Nijuki, Jawadi, Dambe Meba, Damba Kivo Damba, Shenyam Jantiki, Tiago Mare Sungores. Chisan Tiki Kosumi, Tibi, Lega, Jawa Che, di Yagu Mare, Maybe Gimda Garalana, Digi, Rala, Nugile, Shala Nugres. Di Tevudia Maobana, Ansona Guchagores, Chisan Deniza, de Kosumgi, Kone Jewi, Tibilia, Jawazumia, Jawadi, Lega, Mares, and Givotambati, Sungores, Chisan Diki, Suya Dinganzugi, and Nosamevada, Che maybe Tony, and Tibadia, Jawala, Zumbaina, Manzuan, Kasure, Jimmy Shella, Chisan. Kiwo Tambana Jason, Dibila, Java, Java Chevana, Kiwa Chima, and an answer Kigade, Dunga Yungures. This one, I think, Shana, when it's not Udanga Dibi Java Chivana, Kiwa Chima, Asoki, Diba, Ganga, take it as some big Gina, Jehovah, Gina, Junemajiwache, and Ya, Kosumgi, Dibi Java Jumbaina, and Yahumares over.
when one enters into the ordained life, when one goes forth and enters into the ordained life, then one willingly receives vows from one's preceptor, and through this process of receiving vows, one in return makes the commitment directly to one's preceptor that these vows that you have now just bestowed upon me with your great kindness, I make the commitment to guard these vows, to live my life in accordance with these vows. Having done so, though, then the ordained person needs to spend their ordained life guarding these vows, not contravening these vows. But if they lack the virtuous minds of shame and of embarrassment, then these vows will not be protected. They will act in ways that are contrary to the vows that they willingly received and promised to keep. And in this way they end up accumulating non-virtue through their three doors, through their physical activities, their way of speaking, and the way of thinking. And and such behavior is contrary to what the wise or holy beings have advised, have taught that should be done. Because it is the holy beings who have taught that certain behavior leads to suffering, certain behavior leads to happiness. So holy beings have themselves, or here we have the wise, they have turned away from activities that accumulate causes that lead to suffering. Suffering that will be experienced perhaps in this life, but certainly in future lives. They have turned away from accumulating causes of engaging in activities that bring harm to others, harm now and perhaps indirectly in the future too. So this kind of behavior has been turned away from by those who are wise, and they have guided us in the way to do the same. But lacking shame and embarrassment, then some don't do so. And this is because of lacking a fear for the result that will follow through engaging in such behavior. Without generating fear for the suffering that will follow through engaging in non-virtuous activities, such behavior will not be shunned, and one will shamelessly continue to engage in such. There are two virtuous minds called shame and embarrassment, which have as their contrary minds the non-virtuous minds of non-shame and non-embarrassment. The minds of shame and embarrassment, these two virtuous minds, they function in the following way. So shame is in relation to oneself, in the sense that through oneself thinking, if I were to engage in this kind of behavior, this would be shameful. I would be letting myself down through breaking the promises that I made, the commitments that I made. Moreover, I would be accumulating causes to suffer in the future, to attain the results that I don't want. These, and moreover, I would be attaining results contrary to the purpose behind receiving these vows. So this is the virtuous mind of shame. Its corresponding non-virtuous mind of non-shame is where one just does not think in that case, in that way, where one's not thinking about the future, where one doesn't think it matters what if one contravenes the vows, contravenes the promises that one has made. And one's not thinking about the karmic results that will follow, or chooses not to think about them. And that is the non-virtuous mind of non-shame. Embarrassment, then this is in relation to how others would perceive us. So here one thinks that if I were to act in a non-virtuous, in this kind of harmful manner, then I would let down my preceptor, I would let down my community, others would rightly scold and criticize me for my behavior. This is unwanted. And this is the virtuous mind of embarrassment. So shame is in relation to oneself. Embarrassment has the aspect of being from others. How others perceive you, where shame would be how one perceives oneself. So both shame and embarrassment are virtuous minds. Non-shame is non-virtuous, non-embarrassment is non-virtuous. And this is where one thinks, it doesn't matter what others say about me, it doesn't matter what others think about me, that is their problem, I'll do what I want. So this is the non-virtuous mind of a non-embarrassment.
Chesan shen kumsan che se tu ngi lunga ni ju ben ngi chik tu la na ko le nyu ge shen le nyu ge kon zu ki wu yong ma le sa na an kon zu kon lang ge kon lang no kon zu le di bu sa ge sam je ne ni ge sam da je shen da le ya shen ge sam da je an ngi shi kon zu nyu kon zu ya bu yong ma le sam je ngi shi ngi lunga ge ni ju ti ge zhen me sam lo de la an che yo ba se wo che yo ba di ge wa le da che me ba lo de 네 가르쳐나지 삼전 류난주게 네 직주샤다 균주제야다 되네 류주권에 아니 그지 니동 다야다 되네게 제바이나 아니 디바디 아니 체메비 디바 체메스로 되네게 니줄라 맞은 바제 콘줄레 뇌나 가르쳐나 삼비게 니줄라 맞은 바제 아니 쟨라 콘줄라 강아 치겠으면 될래야 맞은 바제 류나게 니주 제바이나 첼메바레서 그래서 되네자 저기 류나게 단다라 디 니주 가서 체메비 단다 디체 체마바다 체여사디 캬바디레.
So probably shame is a bit easier to understand than perhaps embarrassment, because with embarrassment, where one reflects that others will criticize oneself. When the way that this is this virtuous mind of embarrassment, the way it is to be practiced, is not that where it's mixed with pride and not wanting others to look down on us, but wanting to speak well of oneself. It's not, because that would be non-virtuous. Rather, embarrassment, which is in relation to how others think of oneself, comes together with this wish of, for example, I must ensure that I do not allow anger to dominate within myself, because then I will express this anger towards others. And in this way, I will bring unhappiness, I'll cause harm. I'll bring unhappiness to others, cause harm to others. And then in response, they will criticize me, and they will also create non-virtue through doing so. So this is how that one utilize the mind of embarrassment should function, where one is not wanting others to create non-virtue through criticizing, one is not wanting others to suffer through one's behavior. So this mind of embarrassment differs from shame in that it's concerned with the response from others. But this isn't conjoined with pride at all. It's not wanting others to suffer. It's not wanting others to accumulate non-virtue. Non-embarrassment then is the mind that lacks embarrassment, thinking, well, if I get angry, my anger is justified. And if they then get upset, well, that's their problem because of what they've done. So this is the mind of non-embarrassment that lacks concern for others.
융하게 예주기 잼바텔라 아니 ngo사요 바체 체요 바스도 오니디 진에 샹래 야고 용말 콘솔 강아 체게세 셴 김천의 제제 융하게 예주를 잼베 삼로디 아니 체요 바세 디니디다 ngo사요 바다 체요 바 개와데 니기 제사 다디 도초를 ngo사 메바세도 랑 김천의 제제 샹이라 예주기 셴 융하게 예주기 맞아 바체 다 지금 현 김선도 샬은 뇌에 약용 말했으면 될 맞은 바지 그래서 맞선 바지 아니 야 류마기 예주를 맞은 바지 뭐사 매바다 첼 매바사죠 디니의 삼로 지어든 아주기 류마기 예주 지금 우리 샬은 측수 셔야다 근데 망제들을 측수 셔야 돼 견제저 디응고로와 류주가 내야다 류마고는 내바지야 디응고를 지산 디니게 삼로 내어도 뭐사 매바다 첼 매바니 내나 디도초기 뭐사 여바다 체유에 삼는이데 매바차로 그래서 심히 잘해야 돼 매바차게 되려고 그래.
The mind then, to be clear on the difference in with shame and embarrassment, shame is the virtuous mind that restrains restrains one's own behavior. In that, if I allow these minds to dominate, I will accumulate causes that will lead to my own suffering and will prevent my own spiritual development. Embarrassment is focused outside. So this embarrassment is a mind that restrains, that subdues, a virtuous mind that subdues and restrains our own mind through thinking that if I allow my afflictions to dominate, I will bring harm to others. I will cause others to suffer. So that is the difference between shame and embarrassment. The opposite minds of non-shame and non-embarrassment, they are not thinking about in this way at all. They're not concerned with oneself suffering or the suffering brought to others. Rather, they tend to accompany afflicted minds. So when one, for example, speaks in an inappropriate manner towards others, criticizes others, engages in divisive or harsh speech towards others, then the motivating mind is likely to be accompanied by non-shame and non-embarrassment. So this is the nature of these, or the essence of these minds of shame and embarrassment, and non-shame and non-embarrassment.
And netzing iba somebadila timchal gejong shasu jennam gis. And say that donadi sungwa jesa 당한 저기 랍중 조용도 안 라메살이야 아니 이 류가 유스미 예주 지금에 선배 수준 소야 클린지 지사 되는 소야 클린지 제 안젤이야 와사 매바다 체매비 토네 아니 아주 지게 심제 소셔시야다 고마고야 라서바다 되네게네 지금 미상화 줘발라서 제바이나 아니 가서 수준이 팀찰스도 수준에 냠두고 그래서 지상 수준 냠바 냠고레스 팀차 냠고레스 제가 되니게 수준에 냠바이나 아니 개중 샤수 젠시데 파다나 아니 랍중 돌로레다 가서 랍중도 통과할 때 donang mala ko rabjungi number to 통하는 마도 donang rabjungi 수준에 냠살 donang mala rabjungi 차고 말 와서 그러다.
Gut, die Tamate Yanke Sabosung dann, die Dikpache Zane, die Ramsung Tönkide, Rabjunga Tönkide, jene?
냠냠루라, 근데 이때 안에 다시 그 답안하신지 나로 kuma 잡 심지 소수의 제시베데나 치료 때도 가서 때도 잡아로 통고로 거다 샤사 통고이나 don달라 그 잡아 수의 수준이 냠돼요. 제가 디스코 제수jensen 저부로시 거다나 저부 통고르디나 don달라 수준 냠들 잡죠 최고 말이지 don달라.
The second line for us, those so-called practitioners with their wayward ethics. So this refers to the ordained who have willingly, with their request, they've received the vows of ordination and responded directly to their preceptor that these vows will be protected and be protected throughout one's life. But then through not utilizing the minds of the virtuous minds of shame and embarrassment, their ethics have degenerated. And through the degeneration of their ethics and the allowing of the afflicted minds to dominate and be acted out upon, then they have acted in ways contrary to their vows, such as killing or engaging in sexual activity. And then these practitioners, who may give the appearance to others as being included amongst the ordained, in that they are addressed appropriately, their ethics have degenerated. They may even show wayward behavior, but certainly the quality of the mind of ethical conduct has degenerated, and therefore they are left as a mere outward expression of an ordained person.
디기 제보된 수름 소야디 가라스네 동아 깨와치마 강송라 타리아다 아니 깨와치마 강송라 타제 타바다 탐지 힘이 고바 토야도 숨고거래 진짜 되니게 케린제 아니 데도 수름네 냠제 아니 지게 소주비 레가다 아니 미사와 주비 자와다 아니 주 아니 미셜라메 주이셰베 자와 제바이나 수름네 냠부고 수름 냠소나 수름 야디 디니기 제부디기 안 깨와치마 가솔게 규차고라 코발에 동안요에 규차차고 마도 동안에 타에 규차고 말고 그 가서 가다로 차로 걸어와 디니 인자 안 디니기 시고다 donala.
The wise or the holy beings, those who have taught the path to attain lasting happiness and who bestow the vows of ordination so as to aid rapid progression to the attainment of the state of liberation and enlightenment, they have taught the reasons to receive ordination and to guard one's ethical conduct. And that is, through doing so, one doesn't engage in non-virtue, one accumulates great stores of virtue, which leads to the accomplishment of freedom from suffering. But those wayward practitioners who have allowed their ethical conduct to degenerate, through doing so, they are not only acting in a contrary manner to their vows, they are not only acting in a way that's contrary to the promises that they have made, they are accumulating the causes that will lead to the contrary result of what they embarked on and what their preceptors had hoped for them, and what the wise had taught to them. Because through the degeneration of their ethics, these activities that lead to the degeneration of ethics accumulate causes that lead to rebirth in the lower realms. They do not lead to liberation. And therefore, these wayward practitioners are only progressing towards suffering rebirths, rather than following the advice, the trainings of the wise. They are actually ending up progressing towards further suffering.
Tadi all Javazuki came to Javazolo to Slayo Mare, Corgasane, Mazatena Cortec, Dulo di Travi, Dulore, Quenche, Chedi, and the Chedi, Dichipat, Dichicordina, now log Sutim Yamsarva, Java in the Mesedi, now log Domba Yemeso, Domba di Yamniche, Domba Suku, even the Javaredo, or Dulo, Yakapte, Anchi Dulo, the Tache Meva, Kuduto, Kundivene, Cortavaredo, Corgasan, Tache Koya Meva, Dambo Dombo Shuji and Dombo Shunata, Dombo Mashuine, Kashi, Tasha Gwen, Jimmy Tovena, Dombo Shumene, Padana, Tasha Gwen Jabaro Tungo, Dina, Dondala Jabare Yomare. That Dombo Shuji, Dombale Yam, and the Ajik, Jimmy Puyo Barosine, and Dulole, Tasha Gwen, Denigi, Devine, and the Patan Jabaro Tungo, Dina, Javamare, Gina Dinin Zanganzu Tongo, oh, that Javazuki. She came in Tisha, Java del Pu, Java de Yamulamna, and Dilia, and Gina Javalia Katamachato, Dibasa Gore, China, Kiendi teaching what Avareo Marajan, Midi didn't see to Midi that then Kimelesha Pudu, that the Trashet to Loroch, Trasha Kone, a woman who said Shena and Titirua. The Chidan or Travatiki to Lo, Ticasa Punya, Kia to Travatiki, Kimenya Shalana, and then Anzu Tiwashimosa, Nishika, Trava in the means setting on the Dirwada. Shungi Nyendoba Mami Rushine, Mami Duro, Toyora, the Chiloda, Zonchi, Gwenji, Chasan Gwen, Jito, and meet that you Ojimami to Tungo, the Inner Dondalago, Mami Reo Maro, and Yendova Reo Marava, might call Reo Maro, Kotane, and Zutani, Gumivaji Ton, or the Yendova to some big Yayorva. That the Nigga Yendova to get Yadata, Emilia, Tuze, Corsos, or Yendobi Corso, Corserizon, Yendobi, Dumudulana, and Digo Marva, the Tiro, Nutrichagova. Says that Patan and Yendova to not and Yendova Reo Maro, or Dido, that is so.
In this regard, there are a couple of perhaps useful points to make. So what specifies someone as being included amongst the ordained or not is not their outward expression, such as whether they're wearing robes or not. It's rather to do with the presence or absence of vows on their continuum or not. So if someone who has the vows of the ordained on their continuum is wearing lay clothes for a specific reason, they're still an ordained person, they're just dressed in the clothes of the non-ordained. But there are people who wear the robes of the ordained, but have no vows on their continuum, and they may live a very ordinary life, have a partner and have children. So they, in one sense, show the appearance of being ordained in that they wear robes. But on their continuum, they don't have any vows. So they don't have the vows of the ordained. So therefore they cannot be called a monk or a nun. Whereas on the other hand, someone who does have such vows, the vows of a monk or nun, they may be wearing ordinary clothes, and they would still be suitable to be called an ordained person because of the presence of the vows on their continuum. Why this is important is, if one then sees the behavior of a person who appears for all intents and purposes to be an ordained person, and this behavior seems really strange. For example, there's an ordained person walking with their partner and their children, then you think, hang on, this is a little strange. This is a person who's married and is caring for their children. This is not what ordained people should do. And then, if one were to criticize the ordained as a group, that would be a fault, that would be a great negativity. If, though, one were to say, this individual's behavior is contrary to the purpose of ordination, that would be correct, that would be suitable, it would be factual, and it would be specific to the particular circumstance. But if one were to criticize the ordained as an entirety and say, oh, the ordained are no good because of this illustration, that would be an error. It wouldn't be an error, that would be non-virtuous. So this is similar if for example, if you see someone in town and they look like a soldier, they're wearing camouflage gear, they maybe walking with great confidence, and they have a physically strong body, the way we'd imagine soldiers to be. And you think, oh, this person is dressed and is acting like a soldier. But this is not. So someone who just went to a shop where they sell clothes, camouflage clothing, and they dress in this way and carry themselves in this way. But they haven't taken the oath that those who serve in our armed forces take. They haven't taken an oath to protect our country. And they haven't engaged in the variety of trainings that the people within the services engage in so as to fulfill their goals. So they have the external appearance of being a member of the armed forces, but they do not have the inner qualities of such a person. So similarly, when it comes to an ordained person, there are those who wear the robes but do not have the vows on their continuum. So this is something to be aware of.
That's it. Dagi give me a chimla Jora show. Jisa Jeremy Carlson or Senate, Jisa Dagi give me a chimla Jora show city. The Nigi and the Chiktomba, Shuji and the Rapjung de Delia, and Jik the Nigi, Parche Mioa, and the Tutum de Gaya, soon to be Dondala, Ni, and the Console Pando Trupche, Ni Console Raw Jeje, and the Console Tutum. Laba Nyamlen Tutum Shu in Laba Sungan Rapjun, Laba Nyamlen the Yapo, Nyamlen Tarshimbaji, Nyamle Yapo Chetuada, and Nyamlen the Yapo Chebala, Dinner Tutumi, Nyamlen de Zawache, Digalia, and the Parchin to be Nyamlen, Sanjo Koma Togi, Dondalagi, Consular Panto, Jetchimachi, Tumasho, Osaji, and the Molam Jet this one.
The Euro dance Hapogomaso, the Rapjun were dance or consul Sutum Nyamkin, Console, Yamachitan Segere, Rapjun Sama.
Titulian, Sudim Manyamba, Jingi, Raw Cheche, Sudim Yamle Yapo, Yachina, Sudim Yamle Yapo, Yon, Dela Denan, Parchin to Yamlet in the San Yokoba Tobiki, Pampa Jetchimu to our shores and Monam.
And here in this verse, Rinpoche is expressing the aspirational prayer that may he guide those who have received vows or who have received vows and made the commitment to safeguard them. May he guide them through the various stages of accomplishing the three higher trainings of ethics, concentration, and wisdom, and the cultivation and practice of the six perfections. May he lead them to the attainment of perfect enlightenment.
And the Jingi Domba Lunche, Gin the Desolia, and the Jingi Domba, Jingi Domba de Yahu, Sunja, Yamla Yahu, Jetuya, Roche, and then Yamla Yahu Jetuada, Jingi Domba Yahu, Sunja, Sudim, Tisumala, Denan, Deletin, and Parchin to be Yamlan, San Yuko, to begin, Roche, Denigi, Jetua, show us Molam Jikshagore.
And moreover, as has been said in these circumstances earlier, whilst explicitly the verse may be referring to those who receive the vows or the ordained, implicitly it applies equally to those who have the lay vows. So here then the teaching is the same, that having from one's own side, with one's own request, received the lay vows and made the commitment to keep them, these should be guarded and guarded well. And this then should be conjoined with the practices such as the six perfections, so as to lead to the rapid attainment of enlightenment. And here Rinpoche is expressing the aspiration to be such a guide.
Lunga Yusumi Yeje Dombia, Anami, Bachiki, Roboche, Pando Ruche, Shen, Semjan Chasan, Lunga Yusumi Yeje Dombe, Sudim Soyada, Sudim Disuya, Sua, Dene, and take a passion to Yamlan Cheche, and San Yoko on you to beginning Pando, Robo, Yachibuchi, to our shores at the Molam, Yawar Dinada, Rabjun, Yenda, Dine, Dandalan, and Kimbaru Suineda, Lunga Yusumi, Yeju Dombig, Sujim, the Yakusum, and Yamlin Yaw Tarchimbo, or shore setting he didn't get Pando Drup, Yachimu to our shore setting, and Dimolam Jades.
And furthermore, what is implied is that those who don't have any vows on the continuum, so householders, those who do not have any vows, may also be able to guide them so as they can restrain their minds and not engage in non-virtuous activity, either in the way of behaving or communicating, verbally communicating. And moreover, may I guide them so that they lead a life that brings benefit to others. So this too is expressed implicitly.
나도 추름 소야디 제가 개화래 제가 추름 소야디 아주 개비 냠는 제기 아니 시사로 시레스 제가 시사 싸와 시사
시사 알레 바오사기 그시
시사 심마도 사실 마선 돈도 계속해 싸워대고 어디서 그러와 제가 주름 소야게 냠는 제디 아주 개와 탐지기 중요하게 다 싸워로 차고 그래서 디니 인자 탈바다 탐지 김을 거봐 토발라 주름 송고 그래서 디니 인자 겨서 랍주이네 소소라나기 랍중고 라면스네 주비 돈바티 파야 송 투벌쇼서 몰람야다 소수기 냠네 야고 송제 냠네 야고지 아니 셴레야 로제지 셴바줄레네 데니게 랍중이 냠네 야고야야돌라 판도 주고 그래야지 아니 기네 소수기 라면드네 기 돈바킬레지 바 돈바티 배 야고지 송 야고 송제 아니 티 랑이 냠네 야고 송 셴레야는 판도제 돈달라 아니 판도제 투야다 데네제 투벌쇼세 몰람야야다 데네제 오레스 디단다 김바 랍중 멤버이네 랍중다 이해 가야 매매네 김바이네 아주게 다 코와 동화를 주고 그래 지상 아주게 람 냠는 제발라 근데 수름 누가 있으면 예주 domje and surma nyamne maje pa ina nyeje madme kewachi ma nga so ke dunga nyo dine kewachi yagi ko bragyo ma dine enza lunga yesu nyeje domye churene pe mas ke chimbore dine enza so so sanju ko ba tobe chirdo che nyamne yakko ya danda la nyeje lunga nyeje dombe churemde yakko sung dine sung ko res dine sung tubar showase molam gyap dine ge so so ge sung ya molam niga gyap dine sosorangi sungje xian le penbe sewa jiwe sanbe tuwane xian le ya lunga yusmi nyeje sungya le ya ane ya ji roho je penba zhubu uri esa andu sungur da donda labja di dire da zidanga zui din yamna jia de tanga zui sosui rabchu yin sosui donba ya sungya digi yaqo sung ane sosui ya yaqo sung ane xian le ya ane jige sungya le ya pando zhuya dang ane rabchu yin ginyi kimba lu xin de sosui lunga yusmi nyeje yu donba di yaqo sung ane xian le ya di nyeje donba sungya ge donda la roho je penba zhuya ge andu zine ane nga zui 대양 군로들이 양아주데 심제담지 사유고바 되게 치도 xianle penbi chidu samda jego le sa de nyamne jewa de nyanjuge de labje di da.
The reason that Rinpoche composed this verse wasn't for his own benefit, but to benefit his students, both those directly that he was training, as well as those future generations that would come to read this text, such as ourselves. So here the advice that he's giving to us in this verse is that you, as students of the Buddha, as my students, hear this verse and be mindful, remind yourselves of the harm that follows from acting in a way that is contrary to your vows. Remind yourself of the harm that will follow if one doesn't guard one's ethical conduct well. And also, accompanying this, remind yourselves of the great joy that will follow and the tremendous benefit that will follow from guarding your vows, from living an ethical life. And being mindful of this, keeping aware of the harm that comes from non-virtue and the great benefit and joy that follows from virtue, then whatever vows that you have, or even if you don't have any, live an ethical life. And moreover, live an ethical life of the Mahayana where you strive to benefit others. And if you have vows on your continuum, whether lay or ordained, keep those vows well, those vows that you chose to receive and you promised to guard well. And the reason for this is ethical conduct is the basis or the earth from which all good qualities grow. It's on the basis of the subdued ethical mind that one can give rise to all good qualities. So therefore, this is as the very foundation of our training. You, my students, ensure that you live an ethical life that is of benefit to others. And by doing so, you will be able to guide others as well, because you will be living in accordance with the advice of the wise, with the vows of the practitioners of the Buddha, and thereby you'll be able to guide others in a similar way. You will not be perceived as a hypocrite, but you'll be perceived as someone who's genuine and authentic, and thereby, being a living example, you'll be able to bring great benefit to others. So this is the advice that Geshe Rinpoche is giving to all of us in this verse.
That's Yangda Lamdur Lobi Lamganshu, Migi Xin, Dijo want to song, Gain Dean, Dagi Delado, Giving up Lamla Gobashu Osage.
And this brings us to the 24th verse, which is a bit changed again. May I easily bring to the path praised by Buddhas those who have rejected authentic paths for wrong paths, swayed by those who teach non-virtue and misleading friends. I'll read it again. May I easily bring to the path praised by Buddhas those who have rejected authentic paths for wrong paths, swayed by those who teach non-virtue and misleading friends.
Yangda Lamdur Lobi Lamganshu, the Yangda be Lamda Pa Dorje, and Dile Lobi Lamnia, Yamne Chitigendida, Sigurd. Yangda be Lamde Garel and Nazu Gewachima. Hada Migo want to wear Dondala, Kibu Chunga Lam Yimbadi, Yanda Belam. And you want to get Tarotovia Dondala, and a chicken Nejung Sambata, Gundela Biki, that Lam Yamne and the Yanda Belam. Then a Simja Tamjig to San Diego want to be Chudo, Jam Nije, and the Janjusim Gunela, and the departure in Yamne, and a Nomani to be Sherata, and Diso, and the Garsore. Yanda Belam Chagor, Yanda Belamre. The Yanda Belam, you talk show the low Belam said, Gewachima, Hada Mugo, Toyeg, Lamdi, Yamne de Caresene, Sudun Suya, the Chimbotaya Subacomia de Roa, Dele Lodge, Gewachima Yomare, Saje, and the Jigge, Sudun Masuada, and the Simja Sochia, Lunga Yogone, Nietzsche, Jetu the Chedige, and the low Belam Chagor, that Casne, Nazuki, Gewachima, Hada Mugo, Toyela, Gudel Sudum Sungore. Jisa Diu Docho de Sudum Masonwa, Lumagi, Nietzsche, Janja Cheba, the Lobelam Sigura. And the Jimbabata, Sena Janja, the Lobelam. The Nigi Lobelam, the Sugar, the Lobelam. Jinia Gewachima, Taratoya Dondala, Manzugam the Chedi, Tarba Nejum Gundela Chedi, Lamiada Varava. Dili Docho de Tarba said, Yomare said, Tarba Yomar, Chesa Tarba Lam Kongu Mare said, on the Nigi some Daje. Jedige and Lopi Lamsada. The name of Sanjo Goban Toyala, Jam Nije, Simja Tamju, the Sanjo Goban, Jam Nije, the Paju in Yamna Che in Zang, or Daddy, Lopi Lamdigarson, Sanjo Marshall, Nije, the Yonre, Digigam, Sosugi, the Garutu, the Bejetane, Digore Sada, and Dinigi and Tombani said, Yomare Sada. On the Chiki Comne, Galacaro, the Dinigi, and Dipi Jawal, and Chiki Lota, Lobe Lamlia, Yamne Chedivina, and Lobe Lam Saj. Chesa Dinizia, Yanda Lam and Dorje, Lobe Lam shoot you can, that is on the Chedilia, Simja Sochi, Laganya Chedia, million new Sajanya Chedigan, Simjan that in a new Sicily Lam. Then Tarba Yomares and the Tarbi Yomares and Tarbalia, Gua Dipche, and the Dinigi Chediganda. And the Sanjay Yomar, Takachimichi, Yomar said, Delia, Guru, Dip, Dinigi, Lobbing on the Shubares. And this is what it.
So the second line for us in English, those who've rejected authentic paths for wrong paths. So what is meant then by an authentic path? So authentic paths is what we've been hearing about for this past week or so. And there's the authentic path of practices to be cultivated within one's own continuum that lead to rebirth as a human or as a god. There are authentic paths to be cultivated within one's own continuum that lead to liberation from suffering in its entirety. And there are authentic paths of love and compassion, as well as the paths of the six perfections to be cultivated in one's own continuum that lead to the state of enlightenment for the benefit of all sentient beings. So these are the authentic paths. And there are those who have rejected these and rather adopt wrong paths. So wrong paths then are paths or ways of thinking, so mental paths, ways of thinking where one doesn't believe in reincarnation or rejects reincarnation, where one deprecates the attainment of liberation, saying liberation is not possible, there's no such thing as liberation from suffering. Or that deprecates Buddhahood, saying there's no such thing as a Buddha or Buddhahood. That is not possible. And other illustrations of wrong paths, so the rejection of reincarnation or the goals of liberation and Buddhahood. And there's also the rejection of karma, saying cause and effect doesn't exist, and so therefore you don't need to, you can live a hedonistic life, you don't need to restrain yourself thinking about results to follow from one's action. And this would include thoughts such as, acting under the afflicted minds is okay. It's fine in many circumstances to kill. Anger can be justified, pride can be justified. Acting under the afflicted minds can be justified. So this too is an illustration of a wrong path. And then also thinking that, meditation is really difficult, and really what kind of benefit is going to come from this? It's not worth the effort. And rather, just being concerned for the happiness of this life. These are all illustrations of wrong paths.
당번에 개와 치마 요 말에 세야지 양주 기용된 남산 개와 치마 요 말씀 말와 개와 치마 요 말에 탈바 요 말에 산지에서 태과 치미 취세 요 말에 세야지 디서 디니게 삼로나라 코라지 디기 제소를 로베 남는 줘야지 다시 미기위 신인기 체제 디니게 탈바 세야지 가서 개와 치마 요 말다 아시비 디니게 신인디게 tuyanje 디니게 제소 장진 오다 개와 치마 요 말에 세 데니게 와치마 메바자 데니게 람 삼다야다 양직 타바세도 요 말에서네 미기비 신인이 직 태제 디오도 송아제 아주 타바메 요 말에서야다 산지 고바 타바치미 요 말에서 데니 켈렘바디 그지 기위 신인 지나 태제 만데네 켈레도야다 양나 기위 신이면에 소수기 로보 가보니에바 지 소수기 로디 이시스 로보기 안 데니게 오데디네 요 말다세 시제 니 요원도 송아쟁한 주기 개와치마 요 말세야다 엔케레다 탈바 요 말세 탐지 김비 요 말세 엔데니기 야 로발야 삼타야기 데니기 조시기리스 데니로와 요레스 고로와.
And our third line, swayed by those who teach non-virtue and misleading friends. So it's most probably those who teach non-virtue as well as friends who mislead us, that sway our way of thinking and influence us to believe in wrong paths or to accept wrong views, so to thereby cultivate wrong paths. And in this way, we reject reincarnation. And this could come through spiritual teachers who say, there's no such thing as past and future lives, and we are influenced and accept this. Or those who teach, there's no such thing as karma. Show me what the cause is and the cause is of this specific result. So, and they reject that. Or the goals of liberation or enlightenment or Buddhahood or Buddhas, they reject this. So we can come under their influence and thereby cultivate these wrong views within ourselves due to teachers who teach these non-virtue, or through our friends, our companions, our associates, who lead us who influence us to engage in non-virtue, who encourage us to engage in activities that accumulate causes for future suffering. And this then is the meaning of our third line, swayed by those who teach non-virtue and misleading friends.
로베 람라 마슈베네 양다베 람라 냠르 마체바 용구로 베는 하나 저기 직 당번에 최근에 선마다체 최고르다 데니기 기부 주께와 침마다 데니기네 선마다 일랍게 매바네 데니기 선마다체 소소기 내가 디베레가 다 망고 제딩에 제심제 소야 다 데니기 지게 네 망고로 와데 데니기 야 데니기 아직 기위신인 데니기 체체 기위신인 나 디비 조고 온도 송아체 데니 로베 람나 슈제 개부 충고 치료 주소 람나야 냠레 마제바 온두세바 되바디 지산 디네 예바디게 차사다 갈송으로서 다기 가인 대야 delado 예비 나베 람나 거버쇼 오세지 가인 대야 가인 대야 다기 delado 예비 나베 람나 거버쇼 오세 디네게 가사 디네게 답변에 미기베디 디비 조보당 안에 지게 미게 기회 신이는 맞춰봐 있나요? 소소라랑기 쳐를 도나 매봐 주님을 맞아봐 봐 기부 총 치료 추선 남냠는지 봐샤지 안디벨레가 양양체다 안에 디멘비게다 체디기 자와잠로 콜되게 안디네 요르와 대수이네 니야 안 대수님지 때문에 지게 타바 토국을 건조 동안 세고에 디기 주 den국으로서 대리야 잠바단 저와 니제 삼다제 대수야 안이야 상기기 나가서 기부 충무다 침별 남지 진발이야 냠냄 제할이야 고유투버 쇼와서 말람 자고래지네 안디네 양 지게 디비 조브 원도 송제 디조다 디비 미기의 긴신이 원도 송제 되네 야야다베 람기부 치르 주도 람이냠 냠네디 파샤제 디빌레가다 되네 로베 람레야 냠네지 제되게 리게 아니 대수이네 닝제 당원에다네 지konzo 타바토에 가서게 규차 사고래 개와치마 닝제 선배 닝제 삼마다 잠바다 저와 삼다 이토네는 니 konzo 베네 탑게 투지기 토네 아니 konzo야 베 가네 시고도 파 탑시다지 konzo 삼는 규다지 아니 야 아니 사기기 개윙아베 사기 양 야고래서는 나버지비 나버게 람디레 냠는 제알이야 니 베즈제제 되네 냠는 제알이야 바 냠는 제주제 냠는 제투버 쇼어서 konzo를 냠는 제 되네 되네 이 konzo 로제제 되네 냠는 제알이야 아니 고합제 투버 쇼어서 말하면 야고래제래
And what for us is the first line of the verse, may I easily bring to the path praised by the Buddhas. So here, Geshe Rinpoche is generating a powerful aspiration directed towards two classes of beings. So firstly, it's directed to the class of beings who have never come under the influence of non-virtuous teachers, or teachers of non-virtue. So perhaps this is the case for many beings in the world. They've just never heard about reincarnation. They don't accept it, or karma, they don't accept it, or Buddhahood, they don't accept, because they've never heard about this. So they haven't actually, actively rejected these views. They're just unaware of them, oblivious to them. So, and they would be living their life, then consumed by the desires of achieving the desires of this life, and to do so will be engaging in a wide variety of activities. So Geshe Rinpoche is expressing an aspiration to be of greatest benefit to this class of beings. And the second class is those who have actually come under the influence of teachers of non-virtue and misleading friends. And so these are those who have actively rejected the true paths, those rejected views such as that Buddhahood is possible and so forth. So helping these beings is the second group that Geshe Rinpoche is expressing his aspiration towards. And the aspiration that he is expressing, may I, with great endeavor, strive in my spiritual accomplishment so that I can become the most skilled of guides and guide these groups of beings towards the cultivation of the valid paths, the authentic paths of the Buddha Dharma, those relating to the goals of a being of smallest capacity, a being of intermediate capacity, and a being of greatest capacity. So again, the aspiration that is being expressed is for his own spiritual progression, for him to make great effort in his own spiritual progression, so that he can help these two classes of beings in the most meaningful of ways. The path that is being praised by the conquerors or the Buddhas, those are those three paths that have just been mentioned. The development of the mental paths that lead to the attainment of a good rebirth. So the practices of the being of smallest capacity, as well as the practices of the being of intermediate capacity, those mental paths to be cultivated that lead to liberation from suffering in its entirety, as well as the paths, the conquerors praise the paths to be cultivated of the beings of greatest capacity, those paths of the Mahayana that lead to full and complete enlightenment for the sake of others.
기보 치린 추서 남들 냠내 야 제투버쇼 세야데 냠는 전에 냠는 타르치나 산요고 토버쇼 몰람잡아 마지 소소라랑기 얘는 기보 치린 추서 남리야 냠는 제할 베수시 오레스 제오레스 나 소소라랑기 되는 냠는 제네 셴데니게 냠는 제 마신 바다 되니 여바이나다 되니 양지 미기위기 기위신에 미기 조주 원도 송아제 니 람냠네 델 로제 냠네 지현도 지나 베 디슬레닝 잠바단 저와 니제 계제 아니 디슬야 안 디스화 셈버 규르제 나나 주게 기부 체린쇼 람이 냠는 제야래야 투 셈버 규르 투 쿠제 콘솔레 냠는 제주에게 베진 지오고래서 그래 지사 뒤에 인자 난주 취제 기부 지금도 교로벨 람는 주제 파 투부 잡나 용 말했지다. 배 탑게 투지 돈에 곧 잠바다 니제 잠니제 게 니톤에 컨트롤 약간에서 야가도 배수간에 진짜 야가도 탑게 투지 돈에 아니 컨트롤이네 로베 람데로 수 로제 아니 야다베 람리야 냠는 제야리야 배수시고 그래서 가르스네 야다베 람는 제바이나 개와 침바다 니 개와네 개와 두고 그래 로베 람네 배수주네 개와 진가손을 긴 동안 두고 그래서 잠니제 계시 두스 배치 지고 그래서 지나다 제름지 랍제 가르나서 교로지네 몰람잡 안에 소수이네 기부 치르시 남려야 배수제 냠는지 미샬레이네야 안에 동아세야데 디기투에 단달라 안 샬레이네 안에 기부 치르시 남려야 냠는 배수제야 소수 배 투시 상보 투시 야부 간에 차네 탑게 투지 돈에 안 콘솔이야 안데네 냠는 제야 로제 우레 손거다 랍제 디는 거다.
Advice from Rinpoche to us here is that recognize that the paths that the Buddha has praised are those of the beings of small, middling and greatest capacity. And the way he praised these paths was through teaching them again and again and again. It was through knowing directly the incredible benefit that comes from cultivating these paths within the minds of beings, through all the virtue that comes through accumulating these paths, as well as the turning away from the non-virtue of acting under wrong paths, that the Buddha taught these paths repeatedly. And that if one were to remain under the sway of wrong paths, then Buddhahood would not be possible. And moreover, if one hears about these correct paths, but doesn't engage in the cultivation of them within oneself, Buddhahood remains unattainable. So the aspiration that Geshe Rinpoche is wanting us to express here is that may we ourselves train well. May we do so with great energy and with a mind that is light, joyous and spacious. And we do so that we can achieve the benefits of these spiritual goals, and do so that we can bring benefit to those who are lost in the darkness of wrong views, and those who are lost in the darkness of the ignorance of not knowing. And with minds of love and compassion, may we guide them towards virtuous behavior and guide them away from non-virtue. And may we do so with this kind-hearted attitude, not with an attitude of criticizing others, not with an attitude of wagging our finger at others and talking down to them, but rather with the gentleness of a mind enthused with love and compassion. So here the prayer that is being made is that, or the aspiration that's expressed in this prayer, is that we make great effort to develop ourselves so that when the opportunity comes, whenever the opportunity comes to help others, we do so, and we do so in a way of great meaning and guided by kindness. So we'll conclude here for this morning. If you have some questions, then feel free to ask. Then enjoy your lunch. Thank you.